Hey guys, let's talk about the Unit 5 review. Alright, for these first three, we're just focused on the greatest common factor. We're going to look at each term or multiples of terms and see what they have in common. When it comes to just these first three, it's not always evident when we're going to take out a negative, but when we get down to like 4 and the rest of them, when in doubt, take it out. Okay, so that's what we're going to, that's kind of the rule of thumb here. Alright, so for number 1, we look at negative 25x to the 6th and 30x squared. Okay, they both have at least a 5 that goes into them, and they both have at least x squared, so I can take that out. And it's going to be 5x squared as your GCF. All right, number 2, you have 15 y to the 4th, 135 y to the 9th, and 225 y to the 5th. Now, if you need to use your calculator on this to help you out, you can, but 15 will go into each of these. 15 goes into 135 and 225, and so I know at least 15 goes into this, and then they all have at least y to the 4th, so I can take that out as well. So that's going to be 15 y to the 4th as my GCF. And then on 3, if you look at your variables, you have x, x squared, x, and then no x. You have y, no y, y squared, and y squared. So I don't have anything I can take out as far as letters because they don't have anything in common. Remember, it has to be in all terms for it to be able to take out. But I have 27, 12, 24, and 24. All right, so I can take out 3 because 3 goes into all of those, and that's as much as I can take out for this. Now, on 4 and going forward, right, we're going to shift our mindset a little bit, and we're not just going to figure out what the GCF is. We're actually going to take it out and write what's left. Right, so for number 4, I'm going to take out a 2, and both terms have at least a 2 and an x to the 4th. So I'm going to pull out 2x to the 4th, and I'm going to open parentheses and write what's left. So 2x to the 4th times what is 2x to the 6th? Well, that's going to be x squared. That's going to be plus 5. And then that's it. 2x to the 4th times x squared plus 5. That's your answer. Okay. Now, on number 5, 8 goes into 8, but it doesn't go into 17. Both of them don't have an x, so there's no GCF here, and this one cannot be factored. All right, number 6. All right, this I got 21, 6, and 15. They all have at least one y, so I can take out 3y. All right, and that's going to leave me with 7y squared minus 2y plus 5. There you go. All right, 7. You have x's and y's that you can take out. 12, 18, and 60. I can take out at least a 6 out of this. Let's see, I have x to the 9th, x to the 6th, x squared, so I can take out at least x squared. Y to the 9th, y to the 4th, y squared, I take out y squared. Okay, so that's going to be 2 x to the 7th, y to the 7th, because you're just, what are you missing? That's what you're focused on. What are you missing? All right, and then you got 3 x to the 4th, y squared. And then you have 10 x, you don't need an xy because you've already pulled them out, so it's just going to be plus 10. Okay, number 8. For 72, 120, and 60, I can take out at least a 12. And let's see, I got x to the 9th, x to the 7th, x squared, y to the 6th, y to the 4th. So I can take out the x squared, y squared again. And it's going to be, you see, I got 6, x to the 7th, y to the 4th, minus, that's going to be 10, x to the 5th, y squared, and minus, that's going to be 5, and I don't need anything else than that. All right, for number 9, you have, again, this is one of the situations where when in doubt, take it out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take out that negative. All right, so this is going to be negative 2ab. They both have at least ab, so that's where we're going. So 3ab squared. And then because you took out the negative, that's going to be minus 5. All right, so there's that. On number 10, right, again, once again, when in doubt, take it out. So I'm going to take out the negative. I'm going to take out a negative 3. Let's see, I got x cubed, x squared, so I can take out an x squared. I got y squared, y, and y, so this is going to be y. All right, so this is going to be a positive 7x, y. Because I took out the negative, that's going to be minus 3x and plus 4 x squared y. I don't need anything else. So there's that. 7xy minus 3x plus 4. Okay, now the GCF is simply what is common between all your terms. And that thing can be a binomial if it has, so like on 11 and 12 and even 13. My GCF is in fact a binomial, so I'm going to take it out. So it's going to be x plus 6. All right, and then I'm going to put together what was outside, or what was once outside of those things. So it's going to be x plus 6 times x plus 14. On 12, that's going to be y squared minus 8. And I'm going to bring it together, the x plus 3. So there's that. 13 is a little tricky because the second binomial is not in parentheses, although you could write it that way. All right, and just think of it that way. And that's going to be 3x plus 8 in parentheses, and then you got 7x squared plus 1. All right, because when your GCF is one of your terms, you have to replace it with 1. And so that's your answer. Okay. It says factor completely if possible. So it means some of these may not be possible. So just keep that in mind. You have x. So we'll factor this in two binomials. This will be x and x, right? Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Okay, what times what is 12 and adds to negative 1? Well, we got plus minus here, right? It's going to be 3 and 4, and because that middle sign is negative, it's going to be plus 3 and minus 4. That's all you get. So on 15, we're going to try to factor this. We got x plus. Factors of 55 are 1 and 55. 1 and 55. 5 and 11. Right? What times what is 55 and adds to 54? Well, unfortunately, I can't get 54 from either one of those if I'm adding. I could get 54 from subtracting 55 and 1, but both my signs are positive, so that doesn't happen. I would need one of each sign in order for that to happen. Okay, so this is going to be one of those that is not possible to factor in. Everything is simplified already, so this is prime. All right, number 16, we'll factor out an x. All things have an x, so factor out an x. We got x squared minus x squared minus x minus 42. Factor that. It's going to be x plus minus. All right, what times what is 42 and adds to negative 1? Oh, that's going to be 7 and 6. And because the middle term is negative, it's going to be plus 6 minus 7. Okay, so easy peasy. Try not to overthink this. 17. All right, every term has at least an x to the fifth, so I'll pull that out. And that's going to leave me with x squared plus 4x plus 3. All right, and then I'm going to try to factor the inside. And while I factor the inside, the x to the fifth is just going to hang out. So it's going to be x and x plus. And factors of 3 are 1 and 3, so it's going to be 1 and 3, and it's going to work out. So there's that. All right, 18 is very similar to the ones that we did 11, 12, and 13, where the greatest common factor is a binomial. So I'm going to pull it out. We got a plus b on the outside. It's going to hang out there. It's going to be x squared minus 3x minus 28. Okay, and let me give a shot at factoring this. So it's going to be x plus minus. The second sign is negative, so I have one of each. All right, and then what times what's 28 and adds to 3? Well, that's going to be 4 and 7. Because that middle term is negative, it's going to be plus 4 minus 7. All right, remember, the rule of thumb is if you have one of each sign, the bigger of the two factors gets the sign of the middle term. 19, 11 goes into 121, but it doesn't go into 122. So this is one of those situations where I can't take out a GCF, but it will factor. And so we're going to have to do this thing called the AC method, which means I'm going to take the 11 and I'm going to multiply it to the backside. So it's going to be x squared plus 122x plus 121. All right, and then I factor this. Well, easy enough. It's going to be x and x plus plus. Factors of 121 that multiply to 122 is going to be 1 and 121. Well, here's the catch. When you multiply at the beginning of the problem, the AC method, you have to undo it before you're done. So I'm going to take both of these numbers and divide by 11 because that's what I multiplied by. And then I'm going to reduce. And if I have a denominator after everything's said and done, then I'm going to kick that denominator up. And here, that's exactly what's going to happen. The first one is not going to reduce in such a way that I'm going to get my denominator to leave. But the second one will. 121 over 11 is 11. So you have 11, x plus 1. Then you have x plus 11. And that is your final factored form. Okay? So you can, as you've seen up to this point, the easiest way to factor is when that number out front is positive 1. And if it's not, you can force it to be so using this AC method. And that takes all of the guesswork and the trial and error out of it. All right, so 120. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the AC method. That's going to be x squared plus 13x plus 30. Wait, let's give this a shot. X plus. All right, what times what is 30 and adds 13? Well, that would be 10 and 3 and 10. Okay, and then once again, because I multiplied by 3 to begin with, I have to divide by 3. Right? It's going to simplify on the front end. With the back end, I have to put that in front of the variables. That's going to be x plus 1, 3x plus 10. Okay, now this one you could, on 21, you could use the AC method. But let me remind you of something. If this first term and the last term are perfect squares, something else might be in play. So let's give it a shot. Well, the first one, if I take the square root of the first one, that's going to be 3y. I'm going to put it in both. If I take the square root of the last one, that's going to be 2. And looks like all my signs are positive. So let me double check. If this is true, then I can consolidate my answers. But this is going to give me a 6y, and this is going to give me a 6y, which together is going to give me 12y, which is what I want. So this, in fact, does work. And so this is going to be 3y plus 2 all squared. This is one of those special forms that I ask you to remember. But if you don't remember how to do this, you can totally use AC method on this one, and it works just fine. In 22, you need to take out a GCF first before you go forward. Unfortunately, it would be really great if I could take that 15 out altogether, and then I could just factor straight up. But 15 doesn't go into all those terms, 5 does, so I'll take out at least the 5, and that's going to leave me with 3x squared minus 13x minus 10. Okay, and then this is very similar to what we just did, but now I can take the AC method of the inside. And so that's going to be 5 times x squared minus 13x minus 30. But because that second sign is negative, it's going to change the numbers that I use. It's going to be plus, minus. So what times what is 30 and adds or subtracts to 13? Well, now, because my signs are different, it's going to be plus 2 minus 15. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to divide by 3, both of these. The 2 over 3 is not going to reduce any further, so I'm going to kick that 3 up. And then this is going to be 5 times 3x plus 2, and then x minus 5. Okay, all right, 23, once again, we're going to take a GCF out first. I can take a 4 out of everything. That's going to leave me a 2x squared minus x minus 1. And then we can, even if I can't factor the trinomial, I can take a GCF out, and that's good enough to work the problem. But let's go ahead and see if I can factor this. So I'm going to take the 2, multiply the back. So it's going to give me x squared minus x minus 2. X is going to be 4. X plus minus, it's going to be plus 1 minus 2. All right, I have to divide, because I multiplied by 2, I've got to divide by 2. Right, this is going to pick up. All right, so that's going to be 4x, 4 times 2x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay. 24. 24, once again, we're going to do the AC method. I'm going to take this, kick it to the back. It's going to be x squared plus 18x plus 72. X plus 6 and 12, multiply by 72 and give you 18, so it's going to be 6 and 12. I'm going to divide by 8. And this is one of those situations where it will reduce in both situations, but it's not going to get rid of my denominator. So it's going to be x plus 3 over 4. This is going to be x plus 3 over 2. And then I'm going to kick up both of those. Okay, so it's going to be 4x plus 3, 2x plus 3. Okay. 25. Once again, I can't take anything out to begin with, so I just take the 15, take it to the back, and that's going to give me z squared minus 4z minus 60. Okay. We're doing a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So just, once again, when it comes down to factoring, you just need to practice, practice, practice. And if you do this review, this is exactly what you're doing. So z is going to be plus, minus, all right, what times what is 60 and adds to, or subtracts to 4. Well, if you don't know, that's going to be 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, 6 and 10. And I think that's it. It's going to be 6 and 10, plus 6 minus 10. Okay, so that's going to be, see, I multiply by 15, so I got to divide by 15. So when I reduce, it's going to be 2 over 5. And this is going to be z minus 2 over 3. Okay, so I'm going to take these denominators, kick them up. My final answer is going to be 5z plus 2 and 3z minus 2. There you go. 26. Same thing. We're going to have to take a GCF out first this time. 7 goes into all of these. So that's going to be 3x squared minus 13x minus 10. Okay, so 7. We'll take that 3, multiply it back. That's going to be x squared minus 13x minus 30. X plus minus. That's going to be 15 and 2. So plus 2 minus 15. Divide. It's going to be 7. 3x plus 2. X minus 5. 27. I'm going to take a 5 out of each term. So that's going to be 5. And going to be 2y squared plus 9y minus 5. So I'm going to take the 2, go to the back. So that's going to be 5y squared plus 9y minus 10. Y plus minus. It's going to be plus 10 minus 1 multiplied by 2. So I'll divide by 2 here. This is going to be 5 y plus 5. And then 2y minus 1. Wait, I'm going to take out next to the fourth. And that's going to leave me with x squared minus 5x minus 36. Now, because I have a positive 1 up front, I should hopefully be able to factor this without doing AC methods or anything like that. Just factor it straight up. So it's going to be x. Second sign is negative, so it's going to be plus, minus. Okay, so that's going to be 9 and 4. And because that middle term is negative, it's going to be minus 9 plus 4. Yep. And that's, I didn't start the problem by multiplying, so I don't have to undo it. There you go. Now, on 29, you have a difference of 2 squares. The first term is a perfect square, the second term is a perfect square. Okay, and again, if you're dealing with exponents, you're really just looking for an even exponent, and that is a perfect square because you can break it in half. All right, so for this one, you really need to memorize that pattern before, from one of our lessons in chapter 6. But this one's going to be 2x plus 9, 2x minus 9. Because there's no middle term, if you don't recognize the pattern, this one's going to be really difficult. And like on 30, it's the same thing. It's a difference of 2 squares. 31 is the difference of 2 squares, and so on and so forth. In fact, 32 is also a difference of 2 squares. It's just, do you need to take a GCF out? It doesn't really matter what's going on. Like here on 30, you got a lot going on, but it's still a difference of 2 squares, and you need to be able to recognize that. All right, so this is going to be 7k minus 11, 7k plus 11. That should be 11, yeah. 7k plus 11. Yeah. Okay. Here, like I said, it doesn't matter what the power is as long as it's even. Then I know it's the difference of 2 squares. So this is going to be s cubed plus t cubed, s cubed minus t cubed. Okay. Now with 32, I mentioned that this one also is a difference of 2 squares. I can take out a 6. And that's going to give me x squared minus 25. And there's the difference of 2 squares. It was in hiding. But you pulled out a GCF and it showed up. So this is going to be 6 times x plus 5, x minus 5. There you go. 33. I'm going to take out a GCF here. So 3 will go into both of these, and so will b. So I'm going to take out 3b. And that's going to leave me with 25, a to the fourth, minus 4, b squared. And now, once again, I have the difference of 2 squares that showed up. So it's going to be 5, a squared, plus 2b. And then once you have your first parentheses, it's the same thing, but now I'm going to subtract. 5a squared plus 2b, and 5a squared minus 2b. Right? 34 can be tricky, but don't let it intimidate you. This first part is all squared, so this itself is a difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to write this as x plus 2 is my first term, right? And then you have plus 7 and minus 7 because you're it's the difference. Square root of 49 is 7, and it's plus or minus each one, and then you just clean this up. So plus 2 plus 7 is going to be x plus 9. And then plus 2 minus 7 is going to be x minus 5. All right, 35, factor this. You got x plus plus. What times what is 64 and adds to 16? Well, that's going to be 8. Because both parentheses are the same, you can consolidate. That's going to be x plus 8 all squared. All right, whether it has one variable or two, you can still do it the same way. This is going to be x minus 3y, x minus 3y, and that's going to work out. And so this is going to be x minus 3y all squared. 37. Once again, this is very similar to the one that we already looked at, where there is no GCF that is apparent. 5 goes into 25 and 60, 6 goes into 60 and 36, but there's nothing that goes into both of them, right? So either you do the AC method, which I don't recommend because 25 and 36 is a really big number, but you have, but the first term and the last term are both perfect squares. So I would look into that and play with it a little bit. So that's going to be, if I take the square root of the first term, that's 5x, 5x and 5x. If I take the square root of the last term, that's 6y and 6y. All right, my second sign is positive, so both signs are the same as the first. So this is minus minus. And once again, check it. You have, that's going to give you negative 30 xy. This is going to give you negative 30 xy, which is going to give you a total of negative 60 xy, which is what you wanted. So this works out, and I'm going to combine this to be 5x minus 6y all squared. 38 is very similar to 37, but I might have to take a GCF out before it shows up. So it looks like we can take at least a 5 out. So let's take out a 5. So that's going to be 18 or 16 x squared minus 24 xy plus 9y squared. All right, once again, both ends are perfect squares. So let's give this a shot. This is going to be 4x plus 3y. So this should be minus 3y. 4x minus 3y. The inside gives you negative 12 xy. The outside gives you negative 12 xy. Together, that's negative 24 xy, which is what you wanted. So this is going to work out. I just need to combine it. So you get 5, 4x minus 3y all squared. 39, we shift gears. You have a difference of 2 cubes. So you need to recognize that this is 125 is a perfect cube. So remember, that's a binomial and a trinomial. All right. So to get your binomial, you take the cube root of both terms. That's going to be 5p minus 1. And your trinomial is built off of your binomial. So you square your first term, so it's going to be 25p squared. And then your middle term is your two terms multiplied together with the opposite sign. So 5p times negative 1 is negative 5p. I change the sign to plus 5p. That's your middle term, and then you square your last term. And as you square it, it's always positive, so it's going to be plus 1. So, and that is your answer. On 40, you have the exact same thing, but you're going to take out a GCF before you do it. All right, so you can take out a 2m, and that's going to give you a 64k k cubed minus 27m cubed. Okay, so it's 2m. That's going to be 8k. I'm sorry, the cube root, so not square root. Cube root, that's going to be 4k minus 3m. All right, and that's going to be square your first term at 16k squared. Two terms together, that's going to be 12. I'm going to add this time, so it's going to be 12km. And then square my last term, it's going to be plus 9m squared. 41, same thing. It's going to be ab plus 8. And then you square first term, so it's going to be a squared b squared minus 8ab plus 64. 42. This is going to be pretty straightforward. You're just going to factor this one. There's no perfect squares, perfect cubes. You got x and x, plus minus. You're going to have a y and y on both sides, and then this is going to be 6 and 4, give you 2 in the middle. So that's going to be plus 6 minus 4 because the middle term is positive. So the 6 gets positive. Okay. On 43, you have a difference of 2 squares again. All right. This is going to be 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5. Okay, 44 is a difference of 2 cubes. So you have x minus 7, and then you have x squared plus 7x plus 49. On 45, we're going to take out a 7x to the fourth, and that's going to leave me with x squared minus 1. Well, x squared minus 1 is the difference of two squares, so I got to keep going. So you got 7x to the fourth on the outside, x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay. There's that. 46. I'm going to take out a 6. That's going to be x squared minus 2x minus 8. So this is going to be x plus minus. That's going to be 4 and 2. And because this 2 in the middle is negative, that's going to be plus 2 minus 4. Right? So there's that. On 47, I can take out a 3b. And that's going to leave me with 36 a to the fourth minus 25 b squared. So the inside is the difference of two squares. So you have 3b times 6a squared plus 5b, 6a squared minus 5b. 48. This is going to be a factor by grouping. So you group the first two terms, group the second two terms, take out a GCF of each set. So the first one, I'm going to take out an x, leaving me with x squared minus 9. On the second one, I'm going to take out a plus 5, and it's going to leave me with x squared minus 9. And so I'm going to factor out the x squared minus 9 and put together the x plus 5. Well, we're almost done, but the x squared minus 9 is the difference of two squares. So this is going to be x plus 3, x minus 3, and then, of course, the x plus 5 at the end. So you just keep going until there's nothing left to factor out. On 49, I'm going to factor out the x plus 3 and put together all my other terms. This is going to be x squared minus 7x plus 10. So you got x plus 3. Let's factor this. It's going to be x minus, and it's going to be 2 and 5. So x plus 3, x minus 2, x minus 5. Okay, last one. So as of right now, this means nothing to me. But if I factor out that x, it's going to leave me with x squared plus 8. And both 2 and 3 go into 12, but 8 is a perfect cube. So this is how I know that I'm dealing with the sum of two cubes. This would be x times x to the fourth plus 2. That's my binomial. My trinomial is built off of that. And so I'm going to square my first term, so it's going to be x to the 8th minus 2x to the 4th plus 4. Okay? It's all about pattern recognition. So you need to be able to spot when things are going to factor, when things aren't going to factor. You also need to look back at your notes and see that if I have a difference of two squares, if I have a difference of two cubes, the sum of two cubes, or if I have this situation where it's going to be x plus y all squared or x minus y all squared. You need to figure out what that is. So do this. You have to do this over and over again before these patterns start to pop off the page. So do this over and over again as much as you need to, and reach out if you need help. And I will see you in the next video.